Here are some settings that you need to change in Modern Warfare 2. First thing you're going to want to do is go to the main menu, go into your settings, and then go down onto controller. Now, if these are not already done for you, these are what my recommendations and personal preferences are. Everyone's going to be slightly different, and I'll get into more detail about... Do you mind? And we'll get into more detail about that later on. So, if you're on controller like me, make sure you've got, well, controller input device. Button layout, I've just got as default, but again, this is the personal preference. I've got flip off, so basically, do you just want to flip them around? I mean, I use a very broken Elite 2, so I can customize all my stuff anyway. So again, personal preference of what you want there. Stick layout, again, default. Controller vibration, I personally prefer to have the vibration on. You guys might not want to. Your sensitivity is just basically how quick you're going to be looking and just moving around. So, you know, rotating from left to right, looking up and down. I've got mine on a 7. That's just personal preference. They do often start off at default around about 3 or 4, I believe. I'd say about a 3. It is sensitivity multiplier. I haven't changed this, so I've just kept it at 1. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't had really the opportunity to go through just yet because we're still in the beta. Gameplay, aim down sight behavior I've got on as hold instead of just tapping my aiming, so I can basically release whenever I don't want it. Automatic sprint I've actually taken off because I used to have it on and just be able to just move my stick forward, but I found myself losing a lot more fights because, well, I would be running. So this I have a little bit more control of when I'm rushing and whatnot. But again, personal preference, I just personally prefer to have it off. Equipment behavior. Now, I don't know if it's a different wording to what it is on Warzone, but I'm pretty sure I need it on toggle. But I'm going to leave it on hold for the moment because I haven't really been using C4. But I'll definitely recommend playing with these two, whether or not you're going to want toggle or hold. I'm going to stick with hold for the moment. I think it's just basically for when you throw something like a C4, and then you can just activate it in a slightly different way. But I might move it down to toggle. I might just play around with both of these. Again, this is the beta. I haven't had much time to be able to mess around with this. Weapon mount, ADS and melee. That's the one that I always just go for. I just think, you know, you don't want to be going up to a wall and accidentally leading up onto it. One thing I did find with mounting is that, especially when onto a wall, it blocks a huge amount of your vision, so you're going to want to choose to mount more at your choice. Reload, tap to reload. You're going to want to reload as quick as you can. Armor plate behavior, because I haven't been playing Warzone 2 yet, I would put it on all. You don't want to be doing it one at a time. It's going to take too long, trust me. So once you change your settings on controller, if you're on controller or if you're on mouse and keyboard, graphics are the most important bit, and I'm going to show you guys why. On-demand texture streaming, yep, just have it on. You want high quality textures if your PC or Xbox can run it. World motion blur, 100% turn this off. Okay, turn it off. It's just not needed. If you look at the two pictures, one side is really blurry, while the other side, you can actually see everything. So turn it off, remove the motion blur, that's what you need. Same thing with weapon blur. You don't need your weapon to be blurry. You get such an advantage from not having the blur on. It's almost stupid to have it on. Film gain, I turned mine all the way off. I don't feel like I realistically need it on, nor do I see too much of a difference, other than the fact that it just brings a little bit of noise. And if you don't know what noise is, it just kind of makes it a bit more pixelated, I guess. I'm probably not wording it right. If you've ever been on Photoshop, or I think if you ever use Paint and then there's like loads of little dots flying around, that's basically what it is. Again, this just makes it more smooth. Depth of field, off. Don't need it on. Off. Out of focus blur effect is disabled. It's just more blur. It's just basically saying that what we basically have done here is getting rid of the blur and what's restricting your vision effectively. CAS, off, or the minimum. I don't think I've ever even heard of this. Field of view, or some of you might know this as FOV. Turn it up as much as you can because it gives you such a distinct advantage. If you guys look at the picture over here, we were used to about 100. I don't even think we had like 100 if I'm being honest, I don't even think we had 100 FOV back on like Warzone. But the fact that we can go up to 120, what this basically is saying is that you can now see more on your screen. We can physically see it up to 120 degrees peripheral vision is the best way of explaining it. Turn it up anywhere between, I would recommend 110 to 120 to whatever you prefer. I would just 100% recommend that it's something over 100 because you're going to want to be able to see what the hell you're even looking at. Third person, I've turned all the way up. You know what field of view is now? Just turn it up. Brightness is completely up to you. You've got your safe area, and that's just basically it. If you don't know what brightness and safe area is, good luck. Last thing that I would highly recommend is like is going through your interface, because there might be some stuff that you're going to want to change. Me personally, I mean, I don't really use subtitles all that much. I never really look at the subtitles. I've got them on default, but I don't even think I've got them on. You know, the background, I'd probably recommend having off. Like, you know, you don't want stuff that's going to be blocking your vision, effectively. There you go. So, I mean, I've got it on for the campaign, but I haven't got it on multiplayer or co-op. So if you go down to the HUD, this is actually quite interesting because not a lot of people know about this. If you have it as a square, for where the corners are on the square, it will actually give you a bit more of an advantage to being able to see a little, just a little bit more of the map. So I would recommend having a square instead of a circle, 100%. I'd also recommend having a mini-map rotation because if there's someone behind you, you know, you don't have to calculate. You can see where people are to where you're looking. So if someone's to your right and your mini-map's rotated to where you've been, you know where they're going to be, instead of it just being like, oh shit, I'm facing this way, but someone's over here. Are they 45 degrees? Are they 90 degrees? You know, it's just a bit easier. Horizontal compass, it helps for comp. I would just recommend having it on. You know, you can see your north, south, east, and west. If you're playing in a competition, let's say, for example, you're on a big map or something, or you're not quite sure where someone is, you can say that, oh, they're at 320, or they're at north, south, southeast, or whatever, something along those lines. Crosshair, have on, okay, it's an advantage, just leave it on. Hit mark and visuals, have it on so you know what you're hitting. Damage based hit marks, yeah, again, you want this all on. You want this all on because you're going to want to know when you're actually hitting your shots. It's not cheating. It's not, you know, it doesn't make you bad. Just put it on because you're going to want to know when you're at. Literally, you just want to know what you're hitting. Players' names, I got full names on, but you know, it's completely up to you. You can have abbreviated, full names, whatever. I don't know. Maybe you'll find out if, I don't know, Ninja or someone kills you. And I think for a lot of these, we've also got just left that default. Vehicle HUD, you know, fade after 5 seconds, I guess. Default, you know, I don't really think we need to be changing too much with these. Not that I really know too much about this, but I'm just leaving this at default. I don't really think we need any of this on. Connection meter, I'd probably say you're going to want to have it on. I personally quite like having the connection meter on. Just purely so I know what I'm doing. That's literally it. Just so I know how strong my connection is to the game. Tooltip, preferably have this off. I don't actually really need this on. As you can tell, I'm actually going through a lot of these for the first time, but I don't really need tooltips. I feel like I've played enough Call of Duty over the years to know what I'm doing.
You're really old.
And I would say that's pretty much it. I mean, unless you really want to be going through account and network. I mean, I guess we could go through audio, but again, this is all personal preference. You have to play around with these to know exactly what you're going to want. You know, threshold, test a lot of these out. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's just basic audio in plain English. And that is that. If you guys have made these changes, please let me know what you guys think. Do you think it helped? Do you think you preferred it? Did you think about even changing any of the settings that we went through today? Due to this being the beta, you might actually need to re-change these again for when the actual game comes out. I don't know if they're going to save it because they, you know, everything gets reset. You know, your levels get reset. I don't know if your settings are going to be reset. So double check before you go into your first game for when the actual release of Modern Warfare 2 does come out. But if it has helped, guys, please make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.